Hey, this is Sebastian from the Metal Gods Meltdown, and today I'm joined by...
This is Zak Stevens of Savatage, TSO, and Archon Angel.
It's an honour to be chatting to you tonight, and congratulations on Fallen. It gets released in a few days' time. How are you feeling now as release date approaches?
Oh, feeling pretty good. We've got some, great feedback from it, from the fans and everything, and we've already played a couple of shows. They happen to be on a cruise ship, but at any rate, 70,000 tons of metal. So kind of a wild way to start things off. So we gave the crowd a little bit more than half the album in the live shows. And both shows, as a matter of fact, so we could, put a little teaser out there and still not give the whole thing away. So it's been fun, and we had some good reactions from the folks on the ship. So things are, pretty good. We're feeling pretty good about things.
That's awesome to hear. Of course, you've already released a few singles as well. Pleased are you with the responses to those?
We're very pleased, especially for the first video, Fallen. That one got a lot more views than we ever really expected. We got it shared quite a lot out there, and it seemed to, be well received. We had a lot of good feedback on the, the lyrical content and just the, the song itself. And then we came out with Rise, the second. It basically was introduced as a download, the first one available for download. And it was just basically not a video, but just the song itself was released. So that one had a good response. So we had good pre-sales. The label's very happy. Says it's their number one most anticipated album of this year so far. So that looks good with the numbers and everything. And it looks like people are enjoying it. So we're feeling pretty happy about that.
I'm not surprised. So can you tell us how long did the album take to complete, and whose idea was the concept of the Angel and the band's name?
Well, we started getting material last year, early in the year. Started listening to song ideas and stuff like that from our producer and guitarist, Aldo Lonobile from Italy. And that started pretty fast. So we had a lot of material to go through. So we had the first 5 songs finished by probably March. Then it slowed down a little bit. We started trying to get it took another 2 or 3 months to get, the rest of the songs completed, get the vocals recorded, and get everything mixed. So we finished last September. So I think it took about a good 6 or 7 months. Maybe a little bit longer, 7.5 months to complete the process. We started first talking about it. It took most of the 2019. It took January to September. So then we started talking about it in 2018, in the last part of the year, at the very end of the year, somewhere around Christmas or something. So that was about the whole scope of that. And then Frontiers notified us that they wanted to have they wanted it to be a band, and hopefully not just a project. Where you record, you put out albums, and then you basically don't tour. I'm sure they have plenty of those projects out there that have no intention of touring. So they said, we'd like to see this be a band where you can go play some shows. And we said, okay. Well, we agreed. We didn't want to just have a project band with no shows. So they said, well, what's the band going to be called? So they threw that out there to us, and we were working on the band name probably around March or April of last year. And my wife, Catherine, basically, I said, she's a great lyricist, and, she does a ton of music work herself, writing for outside entities, TV shows and movies and things like that. So I said, would you like to take on the lyrics? She said, well, I have a really cool concept in mind. It relates back to Greek Gnosticism, a long forgotten religion, very old Greek religion. And she said, have you ever heard of an Archon? And I was like, yeah, a few times, but I wasn't really sure what it was. So she said, it's basically like an angel. I said, well, Archon Angel, that sounds pretty cool. And she goes, yeah, that's what I was thinking. So basically she came up with the name, and then I said, you can run with that concept if you want to use the concept, lyrically. So pretty much all of that was handled by my wife, Catherine. I said, this time I want to kind of have a situation where I'm Elton John and you be Bernie Taupin, and we'll kind of go like that. So that made me able to really concentrate on the vocal content and the vocal melodies and arrangements, and just be a consultant to the overall project, the mix, the songs, the final touches, and that kind of thing. So I'm very comfortable in that role. So all in all, we had probably about 8 people working on the concept, writing the songs within the band and both outside the band. So that was a pretty big team, and everybody did a great job. I wanted a good team effort, and I wanted everybody to have, tasks that they could handle and do a great job of it without having to be spread too thin. So everybody had a great time, and I just said, hey, it's all about the album. Let's take the great pains to do it the best we can, just to make songs that people enjoy, because without a great album, we really don't have too much after that. So that was really the rallying call and the philosophy of the whole thing. So I think everybody did a really decent job.
You have had some awesome input into the songwriting for the album. How hard has it been to choose then which songs to use and which ones to leave out?
We didn't really have that many that didn't make it. We had probably about 4 or 5 songs that didn't make the cut, and that might have been because we had one or a couple too many very epic songs, much like maybe the Return of the Storm. So we had a couple of extra very long songs, so you can really only put one of those type songs in the group. If we wanted to kind of keep it really rocking on the regular rock song side, so that's the path we chose there. So that was kind of an easy decision, and probably only a couple of other songs that were just regular rock songs that just didn't quite measure up to some of the other regular rock songs on the record. At first, we were writing music I actually said, don't get, mythologically conceptual and all that stuff that people have been doing for so long. And plus, I've done quite a few concept records in my career too. So I was not really going in that direction. But when I heard about the character that we could use, the Archon himself, and following the life of the Archon and the times and the trials and tribulations of this central character, and how we can take that into subsequent albums in the future, then I was like, okay, well, that I kind of like that. And then all of a sudden, a record that was having songs written to not be a concept album, now all of a sudden becomes somewhat of a concept album. So it's kind of cool, because I said, let's have regular rock songs too. So I think that it worked out good, where we could actually just work regular, regular good rock songs into somewhat of a conceptual situation.
And so what would you say then is your favorite song on the album today, and why?
Oh, that's a good one. I like The Serpent, because it just kind of reminds me of a lot of different things, and it's kind of cool. It has a good meaning in the story. And also I like Return of the Storm, because it reminds me of sort of a little bit of the old days with Savatage, that oceanic feel to it, the orchestral riffs and the composition that Aldo came up with, especially in the orchestral pieces, that just remind you of giant waves sort of crashing over the gates of a boat, or crashing onto rocks on the shore. So we kind of knew it was going to go in you're talking about the ocean and the tumultuous seas. I was really happy with the way that came out, with the lyrics and the way it all got tied together. So I think I'd probably say Return of the Storm.
You've already stated you're going to take Archon Angel out on the road. Are there plans to get over to the UK?
Yes, we would really hope so. It's been, I think the last time I was in the UK was maybe one time with Circle somewhere, and then Savatage a couple of times before that. So I haven't really been able to get over to the UK as much as I wanted, obviously. But I think we really have a great chance to do that with Archon Angel. We're starting out small in segments with the touring. So we played the first 2 shows on the ship with the 60 other metal bands, which was cool. And then, so that worked out pretty good. Now we're going to make a little mini tour of Greece and Cyprus and Istanbul coming up in April. So that will get us another chance to play together and kind of take things in a logical fashion. Then after that, I think we can come back in August and do a couple of festivals, and then probably right after that would be the time that we would plan to do something to come over to the UK. So I definitely see it totally possible. And we've gotten a good bit more push in the UK on this record than I've seen probably in the past 10 years. So if there was ever going to be a time, I think we can capitalize on it for this album. So I'd love to try to make that happen and finally get over there.
you don't mind me saying though, there is a definite Savatage feel to the release. For instance, like Gutter Ballet. How does that make you feel when I say that?
That one I could agree in places. That's the first time I've heard it really compared to an entire Savatage album, but I get it. It's got some piano. To me, it was a little bit maybe like a Edge of Thorns, rehash of the Fallen song in places. It kind of gave me that feel, sort of, but it's a completely different song. So it just, it kind of like gives flashes of it feels like certain things, and then it kind of goes in a different direction. And I hear a lot of different bands. I hear a little bit of Queensryche. I hear a little bit of Ronnie James Dio here or there. A little bit of Black Sabbath, maybe a little bit. And then I hear a lot of stuff that's I've never heard before in some of the more progressive, the prog type feel of some of the stuff. So it has a lot of the, feel of paying tribute to a lot of the bands that we grew up with, Aldo and myself. Of course, Aldo is probably about 10 years younger than me, so I like the fact that it comes from a different generational perspective. And he's, of course, a huge Savatage fan, so that's how you get that Savatage influence in there, as long as it wasn't too over the top. So I hear from time to time, but I like the way that the twists and turns and the way it takes different directions, so it doesn't dive too deeply into that. But yeah, I can kind of see, a little bit of, a few things off Gutter Ballet being thrown in there, sure.
Everything about the album is amazing, even down to the album cover. Did you have any involvement with the design, and would you be having that framed in your home, because it's a work of art, isn't it?
Yeah, Oleg, our artist from Russia, okay, and you'll see it on the credits and everything. He's done quite a bit of artwork around in the metal music community. He's really great. He pretty much left it up to us. He had some early drawings that were real sketchy, sketches. Basically, kind of basic, so that we could have the chance to get our input in there and say, what should the Archon look like, and then we kind of threw a couple of things we found online, and we said, this is really just an idea, but what do you think? And together, me and Aldo and Oleg, kind of like had to throw it to him, because in the end, the artist is really going to have to be the one that's happy with everything, and then comes back and presents what he really feels. So he took it. We probably had about 25% opinion sessions and idea sessions, and then 75% was thrown back to Oleg to produce the final product, which I feel is the way it should be with artists. And he did a great job, a brilliant job, and yeah, it's worthy of sticking up on the wall. And I think he did we had him listen to the music, so that was another thing. After listening to the demos as we were making the album, we kind of said, hey, we need to give you an idea of how this is sounding. So he kind of went off the early demos of the album, the pre-mixes, the stuff way before it got mixed. And that's what he came up with by listening to the music. And I thought that was brilliant. I said, that's the way to do it.
I'm a little bit younger than you. And of course, I remember buying the vinyl albums and then opening it, the whole excitement of getting a new album. And when there's still so much good artwork out there, it is really sort of pleasing to see that that's still happening. What with the CDs and digital music and everything, it's good to see that the artwork is still as important. Well, I think it is anyway. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, and there's a big tendency out there these days with the advent of the digital, releases, to not really put a lot of emphasis on artwork. And we did have that discussion. I realized that, and I even put that out there. We were talking about stuff very early on, before we even had Oleg on the project. And I was saying, well, we're getting all these wild ideas. Aldo was sending me all kind of wild, like fantasy type ideas coming from fantasy art and all this stuff. And just, we were just brainstorming. And I was like, I get it, but the people don't even really get a chance to see much artwork because everything's so small now. It's the CD thing, or many people don't even get CDs anymore. It's all just downloads and things like that. I'm like, how important is the art? And then he was like, well, I still think we should put, good emphasis on it. And I said, me too. I'm obviously of your age and older, so I really know what you're talking about, getting those albums and enjoying the large artwork that an album delivers. And so we said, you know what? Let's do what we've always done. Let's put a good emphasis on the artwork. Go find a good artist. So he went out and found Oleg in Russia. And, you know, it worked out great. I'm very happy to see that. I think I'm the devil's advocate. Sometimes I throw out questions that are the burning question. But, you know, in my heart, I want good artwork. So I was happy that we were able to get that done. Oleg did a fantastic job. And on that note, you just reminded me, I'm going to be asking the label to make vinyl, to make a vinyl album of this album. And I hope that they will. I hope that they do a special limited edition vinyl. And that would make me so happy.
That was my next question as well, because I was sort of like hinting at that. Yeah, I think that would be amazing. Even if they could even like do a poster insert or something like that, that would be just something.
Yeah, I think they should do the entire album as vinyl and put the artwork right on the front, and maybe even a poster, like you said. So I'm going to be talking to those guys this week. I mean, no, the beginning of next week, as we have a meeting anyway about radio in the United States. You know, we're getting some radio airplay and stuff, which is fantastic. So I'm going to bring that up because, you know, I see a lot of people asking about it on Facebook and all the social media, asking about, will there be vinyl? So I'm sure they've heard the question. They just need to we just need to sort of have a meeting about it.
With Frontiers, how pleased are you with them? Because they do seem to have like a lot of super groups, like you said, like projects and that. And it's great to see that hopefully they are supporting you to go out on the road and everything. How pleased are you with their input so far?
I think they're a hard-working label. They are aggressive, and I think they know how to have a successful product. And it's tough in the label business these days because the music business and the business of labels has changed just so drastically, even in the last 15 years. It's just night and day. It's hard to make those adjustments, and, you know, with everybody downloading everything, illegal downloads, I know it's getting a little better. It's getting a little harder to just download illegally that have high quality, which is good. You know, they're making it where, you know, digitally, they got to make it harder to steal music. So I get it. It's getting there. It has some ways to go. Again, it's great that we have the greatest fans that really just want to buy, you know, at least a copy of it. And it's working. It's kind of working on both sides. The labels are doing a better job of preventing piracy. And also, I'm also seeing the fans of music, such as myself, you, everybody who is a purveyor of great music, that we're all a little more willing to not just download stuff, and we're a little more willing to go purchase the product. So with those two things, I'm seeing a bit of an improvement. And the labels are, you know, it's a hard job. You know, I think they're doing a great job so far of marketing and promotion. And I get it. You know, you got to say certain things to promote albums. And, you know, it might not be exactly the way we make records, but it's a science in and of itself. And, they're working very hard. So I think they're doing a really good job.
Can you remember the first time you ever played live and how it felt to have people watching you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's one of those that I'll never forget, mostly because I felt like I was going to absolutely die. Because I was in 5th grade, elementary school, and my friend, one of my good friends, David Campbell, who played the guitar in the band, we were told a few months before, you know, that we had this talent show at the elementary school. So my brother was 9 years old, I'm 10 years old, and my friend David is 10 years old, and his big brother Chuck, he's in high school. So we're talking about 5th graders, and then his big brother's like a junior in high school, so he's 17. He's like 7 years older than everybody. So he comes up to us and said, I heard there's a talent show at y'all's school. You guess what? You guys are going to be a band, and I want you guys to go out and win the thing. So I'm going to tell you which instrument you're going to play. So we didn't even have a choice. I'm sitting there 10 years old. I was taking a few guitar lessons, but I didn't really enjoy it. So he goes, what do you want to do? And I said, get me on another instrument, please. This guitar stuff's killing me. He goes, okay, you be the drummer, but you're going to have to sing too because I don't have time to get another singer. So I said, okay, fine. So then he looks at David, okay, we know you play guitar, you're on guitar. Then he looks at my brother, who's 9 years old, and says, you're going to play bass. Okay, so what do we do first? Okay, Zach, you go take drum lessons with my friend Larry over there, and he's going to show you a few things. So I took my first drum lesson, and it went fine. It was so easy. He said, play this beat, play this beat. You got to get your feet doing this. You got to get your hands doing this. Okay, I got it. So we go to rehearse. Okay, he goes, look, I want you guys to play an Eagles song. Okay, so we're going to play this song, Lion Eyes by the Eagles. This is like 1977, I think is the year. All right, what else? I want you to play a Kiss song. I want you to play Calling Dr. Love. And then I want you guys to play, I want you to be well-rounded, so then I want you to play a song by the Commodores, Brick House. So I'm like, okay. I can't really ever forget that because so we get up there and the first song I ever play in front of the tent of the elementary school students. These are first grade 1 through 5. So we get up there and we're ready to play Lion Eyes. So the curtain opens up. I'm so nervous that I almost drop my drumsticks, fall off the drum throne, and throw up at the same time. So yes, I can never forget that, but somehow I held on to the drumsticks and I went 1, 2, 3, 4 and counted in and played. So once I got going, I was okay. I remember the song well, so I get into, we do the little intro, we get into singing it. But yeah, I thought I was absolutely going to just pass out and like vomit all over the place. I was like, it was horrible, but it was a little bit of stage fright. What happened was we played the songs and then they go, the winner is the Aries band. That was what we were called, Aries at the time. Okay. So we won the talent show. So then it went from feeling like you were going to be ill to all of a sudden feeling like, wow, now I've got the music bug. So that's how it all started for me.
That's amazing. That's one hell of a story. So sort of similar thing then, talking about covers. If you could do a cover of any song, which one would it be and why?
I was thinking the other day, we were talking about Ronnie Dio and everything and his legacy and everything, and died about 10 years ago. So I just started kind of playing through a bunch of records, and I came upon this song, All the Fools Sail Away. And I think I would probably want to take that on. I think I would like to play that. I don't know why. I just got the bug. I'm like, wow, I'd like to kind of like do that one day. Never have I performed it, but at this very moment in time when you ask the question, I will say that's the song.
Can you tell us why we should buy Fallen?
I think there's a wide variety of good, progressive metal on there. It would go from progressive to just hard rock to, melodic metal that people have come to expect from, my career. Coming all the way through Savatage, Circle to Circle, and now, Archon Angel, and even TSO stuff that I performed. I think it kind of encapsulates a little bit of everything. It has a lot of music from our past influences growing up, plus brand new stuff that's more indicative of the future. The next album will, of course, evolve away from being remnants of our influences through the years and a little bit more into brand new territory, more progressive kind of stuff. I think people might want to pick it up to see this transformation and see how things are going to go from album to album. But I think this record just has a lot of cool songs that people would enjoy playing over and over again.
Do you have any final words for your fans and our listeners?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for all the support through the years, everybody in the UK. We definitely got some work to do to come play live over there, and I think, this looks like a really favorable time to get that together, so I'm really looking forward to getting over there. And to all the great fans in the UK who have been following me in everything I've done for 30 years. So I really can't wait to get over there and see everybody face to face and shake some hands and just say thanks. Hey, this is Zak Stevens from Savatage, TSO, and Archon Angel, and you are listening to the Metal Gods Meltdown. Crank it up.
Like the sun, moments just melt away. I watch my life fade into the night. My soul was led astray. Here along the distant road lie memories and thoughts unfold. The place where everything that was supposed to be awaits. But life is full of forsworn lies, broken hearts and times that try, and we are left alone to find our way. Someday it all fades away. I waited so long, but the dream never came. I leave behind the crimes of my life. I'm living in a state of fallen grace. Endless miles on the path alone, not a star to light the way. My legacy is still unknown, but I'm closer every day. I look into the future now. I see vows and guarantees and how anyone can change their course with the cost of life defrayed. I don't know how my story ends, but I'll try to remedy amends. As the story goes, I have so much more to say. Someday it all fades away. I waited so long, but the dream never came. I leave behind the crimes of my life. I'm living in a state of falling. What have I become? Broken and lost, seeking clouds.